Hey everybody, my name is Sonia Gupta. I'm currently a developer at Ibotta in Denver, but before that I was a lawyer for 8 years. So I'm pretty new to developing, and what I want you to do right now is actually take off your tech hat for a minute, put it to the side. I know it's hard to do, we're at Google, right? And you're all tech people. But I want you to take that hat off for a second, and we're going to think about code in a different way, all right? So we probably all kind of have our own approaches when we are dealing with a new code base, or maybe you're a senior engineer even, and you're looking at this massive monolith at a new job, and you're trying to figure out where you should start when you're trying to implement a story. So the point of this talk is to kind of get you thinking about a different way to approach your code, using some of my legal tips and tricks. So Sonia Sotomayor, who has an awesome first name, by the way, what she's talking about here is something that I think we can absolutely apply to the act of writing code. It's not just something that you'll look at in a legal context. And we're dealing with a code base that is generally fixed, right? These are things that other people have added that have come before us, perhaps, right? We may not have a ton of room to wiggle around in there. So we've got to work with these things. We can't just sort of make up fictions on the fly when we're writing our code. So I'm going to take you into the legal world for a minute now, all right? Most of the work that I did as a lawyer was in the criminal realm. I prosecuted and was also a public defender. I did everything from like traffic citations all the way to attempted murder. But one of the fun kinds of cases I would do might have been a DWI, right? So when I'm prosecuting a DWI, I get a series of pieces of evidence, okay? They might look like this. There's probably some more, but I might get a police report with some witness statements in it. I'm probably going to get a toxicology report indicating what the defendant's blood alcohol content was, get videos, photos, statements from many people that might have been there. So I get all of this evidence, and it kind of creates this sort of disparate narrative. My job as a lawyer is to take these discrete pieces of information, put them together into a narrative that makes sense for a judge or a jury, right? That's my job. I have this input, right? And I've got to build a story out of this, something that makes sense. So what I want you to do now is put your tech hat back on for a second, all right? If you ever want to take it off, you're allowed to, but put it back on right now. And what I want you to think about is how similar that process is to what we do when we approach a new code base, or when we're writing code for the very beginning, for the first time. So you're starting with, even on a very granular level, you've got an input and an output. And even when you're looking at your code, the entire program as a whole is input and output. This is the beginning and end of your story. And what your job is to do is to put these pieces of the story together so that you understand where your code needs to go. Now, what are some of the pieces that you might have that are sort of like your bits of evidence? You might look at the routes, right? If you're in Rails, you'll do array routes and figure out what are the various endpoints available to you in this massive monolith that you've never done any work in before, right? You might look at the models, the views controller, right? Just go back to the old school basics, right? Figure out where those relationships lie. What are your models? Maybe you look at your schema, right? You want to see what pieces of data you have available to you. You'll look at external data sources. You'll look at callbacks if you're dealing with JavaScript. I'm sorry. So you have these pieces of evidence, essentially, right? These help you to construct a story. And so what I want you to think about when you are approaching your code, regardless of the level of expertise that you're at, is thinking about it from a different perspective, maybe, how you are building a story when you're writing code. This is something that can help you to explain your code to other people as well. And I think that maybe sometimes thinking about tech and about the things that we do from different perspectives helps us to be better developers. So thank you all.